Hello Internet Allies, what was that hand? Hello Internet Allies, how you doing? So, Frozen 2's now out and it's nearing the end of the decade. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. So I thought today I'd rank all the Disney animated movies that have come out this decade from my favourite to my least favourite. So yeah, here we go. So to be honest, I have found like all the Disney movies this decade to be like very, very enjoyable. However, this list is going to be very, very, very subjective to myself. This is just purely my personal opinion. And, you know, you might have a different ranking to myself, which is absolutely fine. Just be respectful of my list and I'll be respectful of yours. Hey. So my favorite Disney animated movie that I've seen this decade has got to be Big Hero 6, hence the t-shirt. Hey. So the reason for this is that, well, mainly Baymax really, to be honest. Like, he's just one of those rare characters where I just have a smile on my face every time I see him. He's like one of my favourite ever Disney characters. I also love, like, you know, the superhero setting. I love, you know, San Francisco. It just seems like a really creative concept. You know, it kind of mixes like Western culture with Japanese culture. When Baymax was like flying around San Francisco, you could really kind of see the beautiful setting that it was in, which was great. The movie also has a lot of like sentimental value, which kind of drives the plot of the film and drives the motivations of Hero, the main character. I think the movie also makes science look really, really cool and kind of proves that really like anybody can be really a superhero. You don't need to be all big and strong and mighty to basically be a superhero and save the day. So moving on to my second favourite Disney movie that's been released this decade, Tangled. So the main reason for this is really Rapunzel, really. Like, I love her character. I think she's my favourite ever Disney princess, actually, because of how relatable I find her, because she's like really, really creative. She likes keeping herself busy. You know, she might be a bit naive, but that doesn't mean she's going to take any nonsense from anybody, really, and stuff, which I love. You know, she's really kind of keen to, like, you know, explore the outside world, but at the same time, she's kind of like worried, like, about like disappointing her guardian at the time, like Mother Gothel, even though Mother Gothel was clearly taking advantage of her and berating her. But yeah, she's really, really kind-hearted as well, and she can make friends easily and she can really hold her own. You know, Flynn Rider provides some like amusing comic relief as well, you know, despite being kind of that sort of like typical charming guy, but like he kind of like learns to kind of open up and be a bit more like sensitive, which I really, really love. Pascal's also really adorable, and I also really like, you know, the sort of like the pub thugs as well. Like, I love how, like, you know, you get to see more sensitive sides to them, you know, because they're typically quite intimidating and violent. But actually, you know, deep down, they have a dream. I've got a dream. So my next favourite Disney movie that was released this decade was Zootopia or Zootropolis, whatever it's called in your region. I'm going to refer to the movie as Zootropolis in this video. So really, it was really, really close between Zootropolis and Tangled, which one I preferred out of the two. But I don't know, I feel like Tangled just edged it for me. I feel like I just enjoyed Tangled a bit more consistently, and I felt like the third act in Tangled was a little stronger than the one in Zootropolis. So what I love about Zootropolis is that it kind of plays with the stereotypes and kind of reminds us all that people aren't just what they seem on the outside, or just what they seem just because of what society says they are as well. So I think it's also very important to like challenge that mold sometimes as well. And Zootropolis does a really, really good job of kind of displaying that with their two main characters, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. I love that they spend the entire movie kind of like outsmarting each other, basically just to kind of like solve the mystery of why some of these animals are going kind of savage and stuff. And yeah, I think it does kind of do a great job of kind of like dealing with some of these like themes of like, you know, not kind of putting like stereotypes like in a box and stuff. And, you know, you can't really like judge people just basically by, you know, things that they can't help about themselves, such as, you know, basically, you know, their race, their species. basically just remember to just be kind to everybody. Everybody has feelings and stuff, so there you go. And also Zootropolis is just such a colourful and diverse and imaginative world. I just love it so much, and it's great seeing like all the animals kind of living together, and like things are like catered for like all animals, even if things aren't perfect. It's just such a wonderful and creative setting. So my next favourite movie is Wreck-It Ralph. So I'm kind of surprised that this movie is not higher up on my ranking, because I really love video games. And it's really quite exciting when, you know, you are seeing like arcade video games kind of like coming together to like go on an adventure and stuff. Again, it kind of explores the theme of like, you know, there being like more to people than initially meets the eye, and it's kind of a shame that like, you know, Ralph was kind of like treated like a bad guy both when the game was active and also outside of gaming hours, if you like. And basically the other inhabitants of Wreck-It Ralph's game, Fix-It Felix Jr., you know, kind of felt like that Wreck-It Ralph's job kind of find him, but that's not really the case at all. Like, Wreck-It Ralph actually did have feelings. He did kind of want to kind of be involved with, you know, the celebrations and whatnot, and to basically like socialize with some of the other characters in his game, which kind of caused him to, you know, run away and explore different areas of the arcade to basically prove that he can be good. But at the same time, he kind of then learns about his, you know, his role, and he kind of learns to accept that about himself. And yeah, again, I really love the settings of this movie. I love the arcade settings. I love some of the like video game cameos you get, like such as like Street Fighter and even Sonic the Hedgehog. So I was so excited when Sonic the Hedgehog was in this movie, because, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog is like my all-time favorite character of like literally anything. So yeah, so I was really quite excited about that. I think there's also this nice little twist in Wreck-It Ralph where they learn about some corruption in the arcade, as well as kind of learning about some of like the worries and concerns and fears that the arcade characters have when games go out of order and they have to be unplugged and stuff, which kind of causes things to be reset, people might die, etc, etc. So next up on my list is Frozen 2. So yes, I do think Frozen 2 is better than Frozen 1, surprisingly enough. This is mainly because I like that Frozen 2 is a lot more adventure focused than the first movie, and you get to explore like the different settings, like of this like neighbouring kingdom outside Arendelle, the Enchanted Forest. I like that. I feel like it has a lot more emotional depth to Frozen 2 than the first one. I also like that like the main characters are mostly a lot more mature in Frozen 2 than they were in Frozen 1, which I suppose comes naturally. So I kind of felt myself like rooting for like Anna and Elsa a lot more in this movie than I did in the first one. Next up is probably a bit of a biased choice, but I'll just say it anyway. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Hey, this might seem really biased, because I don't know, I just love Winnie the Pooh. He's one of my favourite ever Disney characters, again, like Baymax. I don't know, I just found it really charming. I think it was kind of like a series of short movies from what I remember, and Christopher Robin like left them a note saying back soon. However, Winnie the Pooh and their friends, basically they just love to jump to conclusions and basically think that Christopher Robin has been taken by this monster called the Baxon and then go on an adventure to basically try and rescue Christopher Robin. And yeah, it's kind of a bit crazy really, but yeah, I just love that it's like so charming and heartfelt, and you know, has some of the most lovable characters that Disney have ever made and stuff, which are great. I just love it so much. Yeah, I mean, I've only rewatched it a couple of times. I've not rewatched it for a while, so I can't remember a great deal about it, but from what I remember, I really enjoyed it. Okay, so next up is the first Frozen movie. Hey, so yeah, I mean, this one's probably got like the best like overall song of all the like Disney movies released this decade, with Let It Go. I feel like because of how hyped up and talked about Frozen was at the time, I feel like there was a lot of people who were treating Frozen like as the best movie ever, and a lot of people that were treating Frozen like the worst movie ever. But really, it's not really a bad movie at all, really, to be honest. Like, you know, it's kind of got like an easy to follow story. I mean, yeah, okay, Anna and Elsa do make some quite rash, reckless, borderline stupid decisions, but I do enjoy this movie. I do genuinely enjoy this movie, you know, sort of like Elsa kind of trying to learn how to accept and control her powers, and Anna's kind of determination and not giving up on her sister and an unconditional love for her sister. I did kind of like that whole sort of like twist in sort of, you know, platonic love or sisterly love can save the day. It doesn't always have to be romantic love. And also, you know, it's not like the first guy you meet or the first guy you end up being attracted to is the right one for you, basically. You know, I think that's something that Disney haven't explored too much in the past. I'm not saying they've not explored it at all, but it's something that they've not really explored a great deal of in the past. And I think it definitely keeps in tone with like modern times and stuff, which is great. Okay, so next up is Ralph Breaks the Internet. So what I like about Wreck-It Ralph 2 is that it kind of like tests Ralph's friendship with Vanellope and stuff, and it kind of like delves into that kind of thing where like, even though people might have like different dreams or might belong in different places, people can still remain friends. And you know, it's kind of like Ralph kind of learning to like accept that and having to like let go of sometimes, like, you know, he kind of felt like he was kind of being a bit clingy towards Vanellope and stuff, and you know, clinging on to that friendship, which was kind of like making him a bit insecure, like about like her maybe like moving on and forgetting about him and stuff. I did really love the whole like, you know, exploring the internet settings, and also them kind of like making fun of like, you know, certain areas of the internet as well. I also like that they had like the whole like Disney princess cameo sort of thing where like, you know, they got like all the Disney princesses together. And that's kind of what I thought like Frozen 2 was going to be honest, but then like they were like, nope, Wreck-It Ralph, let's put all the Disney princesses in this movie. Yeah, we're not gonna have a Disney princess crossover in Frozen 2. I mean, that would be pretty cool, like having a Disney princess crossover like movie or whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that like, you know, they kind of tried to like explore this a little bit in Wreck-It Ralph, see what would happen. I mean, I don't know whether this means like Vanellope is now an official Disney princess. I mean, I feel like she could be, or maybe should be, but you know, who knows? Yeah, and I do like that they sometimes make fun of like their own like Disney princess cliches as well, which is great. Yeah, it was a good little cameo, and I love how it has like cameos of like all these different like areas of Disney sort of thing, and all the Disney sort of franchises now that they own and stuff, such as like Marvel, Star Wars, etc. and stuff like that. The Stormtroopers were chasing Vanellope and stuff. Yeah, it was a good movie. Okay, finally I'm going to talk about Moana. So even though I do think the movie is visually stunning, visually creative, and has got a really good soundtrack, I feel like my enjoyment of this movie wasn't as consistent compared to the other movies in this list. I think some of the reasons for me not enjoying this movie as consistently as the others is I was a little confused as to like how Moana found out about her ancestors sort of being voyagers and stuff. You know, it wasn't really explained like who really knew about this, who didn't know about this. It was a little bit confusing and stuff like that. Like, you know, was Moana's gran the only person that knew about this? I mean, Moana's gran was amazing, let's be honest, like, she was like my favourite character in the whole movie, but whatever. It kind of really felt like Moana had to really go on a lot of like side quests to actually achieve what she needed to achieve in the movie. You know, such as like find Maui, defeat like the coconut pirates, defeat the crab, and then face off against the what's it called? Tekar, was it? The like lava monster thing, who was actually like Te Fiti all along. But yeah, it's an enjoyable movie still. It's still very pretty and stuff. But yeah, it did kind of feel like they were going on like a lot of side quests before they could like achieve what they needed to achieve. Thanks guys for watching this video, this long little ramble about Disney movies. Please let me know what your rankings, what your favourite movie this decade was down below. Hope you're having a wonderful day guys, and until next time, keep smiling, bye bye.